Hi, everybody. So I hope that all of you realize that I am so ready to talk to you about parenting tonight after spending the day with my 2-year-old and 4-year-old grandkids. So I love parenting, and grandparenting is even more fun. And I have to say, though, I'm happy to be finished with the parenting portion of my adult life. I've got 4 kids, and they're all grown, and it's wonderful to have them up and out and doing so well in life, and just to know that the parenting techniques that I use really worked. So those of you who don't know me, I'm Trina Titus Lozano. There's my website if you'd like to check out past Periscopes. I'm TrinaTitusLozano.com. Oh, thanks. I am a counselor and ordained Christian minister. Thank you so much, Kim. So here's the thing. Parenting should never be a power struggle. You're the parent. You already have the power. The authority is yours, and you've had the power since they were born. But I want you to use a technique called mirroring. And, oh, hi, Amy. I want you to use a technique called mirroring. And that is, it's a calming technique. And you know this instinctively when your kids are babies. So think about when your children are babies, and if they're crying or if they're upset, you might just, look at them and say, oh, it's okay. I know you're sad. It's okay. Come here. Mommy will hold you. Oh, it's okay. You're going to be just fine. That kind of thing. Does that sound familiar when they're infants? Or if they're happy, you might be, oh, I know. You're so happy. Let's see a smile. And then you'll go, oh, and they'll go, oh, So when they're newborns, it's that instinctively you're doing this and they're doing it, and they're making an expression and then you make it back, or they have a mood and then you do it back. So that's kind of mirroring their behavior, which we always do this instinctively when they're newborns and when they're tiny babies. Or let's say they cry when you're changing their diaper, and they'll, and you say, it's okay, mommy will be done in a minute. I'm just going to change your diaper. It's okay. You're going to be just fine. You go ahead and change that diaper while you're empathizing with them, and you're soothing them. You're connecting with them. You're paying attention. You're not trying to get them to change their attitude. You're just kind of going with it, but yet you still continue to do what needs to be done. And so that there's not a power struggle. You're taking care of them the way that you know how, as the mother or the father. That's right. It's bonding. It's reassuring. So let's keep in mind their 3 core needs: love, significance, and security. So you are always keeping these 3 things in mind. So as soon as you begin taking care of this newborn, now I'm going to really highlight the years from 2 to 4. These are very heavy training years. Okay, these are years that if you do a great job using this technique in these years, this is going to, oh, thank you so much, Susan. You're so helpful. That's right. Those are the 3 core needs. And if you do a great job with this technique during these years, this is going to do wonders for really to establish a relationship and to establish these 3 things. See, what happens is as they get a little bit older and as they begin to be strong-willed, they try to manipulate you. But if you use the same technique, what you can do is basically manipulate them back, but you keep the power, you keep the authority. So you have in mind what's in their best interest. You know what's in their best interest, just like you did as a newborn. If their diaper needs to be changed, or if they need to wear their jacket, or if they need to be wrapped up in a blanket, or if they need to be burped, you know what's in their best interest. So you continue to know what is in their best interest. So you have the authority. You don't enter into the power struggle. But if they're trying to tell you something, you go ahead and mirror them. And I'm going to give you a few illustrations because I just illustrated a little bit of how it works with a newborn, and that's perfect. So keep that in mind as they get a little bit older. So for instance, today, as I am sitting Faith in the stroller to go out with my husband, we took the kids to the mall to ride some rides and to do some fun things at the mall. Well, she didn't want to sit in a stroller. Not unusual for a 2-year-old, right? Where they don't want to sit in a stroller, they don't want to sit in a cart, they don't want to sit in a high chair, they might not want to sit in their car seat. But, if it's your idea to set them somewhere that they need to be, and it's in their best interest, you can't carry them all around the mall, and it's fun to ride in the stroller, and it's okay. She had her blankie, and she was well fed, and she was comfortable in the stroller. There was no reason for her her to use her strong will to say no, she didn't want to sit in the stroller. So as I'm going to place her in the stroller, she arches her back, she's straight. No, I don't want it. So instead of me being authoritative and putting her in that stroller and being, no, you stop that right now, that kind. Okay, that's not going to really give her the security that she needs in that moment. I'm going to cause a scene. I'm in public. I don't want to cause a scene in public. I don't want her to feel unsafe or insecure. I don't want anything to be awkward. So whether we're at home, in private, or in public, we're always wanting to keep the peace. We're always wanting to keep the love, significance, and security in mind. Okay, so I pick her up and I hold her and I'll say, Faith, you want Nina to hold you? And she says, hold me, hold me, hold me. So I said, okay, Faith, Nina's holding you right now. So then I held her tight, and I said, Nina's gonna hold you. So in other words, I'm not trying to talk her out of her mood. I'm not trying to talk her out of the situation. I'm going with it, okay? Just like as a newborn, you're not trying to talk them out of, crying when you're changing their diaper. You're saying, oh, it's okay. I know you're crying. You go with it. I know it's uncomfortable to be wet. As a newborn, you don't say, okay, stop crying now and settle down. You go, oh, I know it's uncomfortable to be wet, but you go ahead and change their diaper because you know what needs to be done. Well, I know in my mind she is going to sit in that stroller, but I can take her and say, Faith, and I hold her. You want Nina to hold you. Nina's going to hold you. So I held her real tight. Hug Nina real tight. I'm going to hold you until I count to 3. Then you'll sit in the stroller. Ready? Hold real tight. 1, 2, 3. Oh, big hug. Okay, sit in the stroller. Let's go. Held her tight, sat her in the stroller, and we took off. I still did what needed to be done, but there wasn't a power struggle. There wasn't that tension. But you know what? In that moment, I just stopped and went with it. What really needed to be done. So there's a lot of empathy there. I'm offering additional security. I'm not causing a scene. There's no need for a scene. Is she going to the ride in the stroller? Yes, she is. But it's on my terms, okay? But I'm going to empathize and give her what she needs in that moment, which is just a little bit extra attention. She's feeling a little bit insecure in that moment. We're at the mall. We're at a new place. There's a lot of people around. She's feeling a little bit insecure. Okay. Give her that extra hold. And then here we go. And off we go. Okay. Then tonight there was a situation, same thing, where Anderson didn't want to go to the bathroom with Pa. My husband, he calls Pa. He didn't want to go to the bathroom with Pa. And, so same thing. I just, don't you wish this would have been great, right? So I said to him, okay, come here, Anderson. And he was sitting in the booth next to me. And I didn't want to take him because I was staying with Faith. So I said, come here, sit next to me. So he sat next to me and I held him real tight and I said, Anderson, you really want Nina to take you to the bathroom, don't you? And he says, yes, I want Nina to take you to the bathroom. And I said, I'm going to take you next time, I promise. But you're going to go with Pa right now. So you go ahead with Pa. You be brave. You go with Pa. Nina's going to take you next time. Nina and Pa are going to take turns. You go next time. And he was like, and I said, go ahead. Hurry back. Nina's staying with Faith. Go ahead. Hurry right back. I'll take you next time. So I acknowledge his feelings so he doesn't have to try to prove it to me. No, I want to stay with you. I want to stay with you. I want you to take me. I want you to take me. So go ahead and you go with that. And Anderson, so I'm listening. I hear him. I'm being empathetic. But I don't change my mind about what's going to happen, okay? So he's not in control, but I also don't allow him to cause a scene. I don't cause a scene. There's no power struggle, but there's listening. He's expressing himself clearly. I am listening to him, but I'm still doing what I know needs to be done, okay? So another illustration. It's time to put your coat on. I don't want to put my coat on. I don't want to put my coat on. So as I'm putting the coat on, oh, I know what that feels like. Sometimes coats are itchy and coats. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm putting her arm in. Coats are itchy. Coats are bulky. Sometimes coats make you too hot when you're inside. And as I'm talking, I am zipping it up. Sometimes coats make you hot when you're inside, but when you go outside, it's important. You have your coat. Look, Nina's got my coat on. We all have our coat. Let's go. So that's right. So there's no power struggle. We're talking through it. They express themselves. I express myself. But they don't get their way of not putting their coat on. Do you see how the peace is kept in this situation? Okay. So time to get dressed. Time to put on your shoes, and then I know in advance, this is going to be, they might not want to stop playing right now. Probably not, okay? They're kids. They're probably not going to want to stop what they're doing and put on their shoes to go, right? They don't have any concept of time and that it's time for us to go, right? So instead of talking to them like rushing them and forcing them and being authoritative and then just being like where there's frustration and conflict and rushing and being, bossy and almost rude and, these kinds of things. Just say, can anybody help Nina find her shoes? It's time to go and Nina cannot find my shoes. I sure could use help finding my shoes. And you make a game out of it. Faith, we looked y'all know my shoes were sitting right by the door. I knew where my shoes were the whole time. But I wanted to peacefully transition them from playing to getting on our shoes so we could go. So I'm looking through the house. Nina's shoes are not in here. And y'all, as I'm looking through the house, guess what I'm doing? I'm picking things up. I am cleaning things up and I am tidying things as I'm looking through the house. Are Nina's shoes in here? No, they're not in here. And as I'm in there, I'm like tidying. Are Nina's shoes in here? I can't find them. As I'm looking, I'm tidying. Well, now they are so curious of what I'm doing. They've stopped playing and they've joined me in helping me find my shoes. I can't find my shoes anywhere. Oh, I found Anderson's shoes. Great. I found Faith's shoes. I still can't find Nina's shoes. So as I'm doing this, we're looking throughout the house and I'm tidying as I go. They're not even noticing they're looking for shoes. We end up by the front door. Faith finds my shoes. I found them. We all get excited. You found them. You found Nina's shoes. Yay, that's awesome. Come on, kids. Let's all put on our shoes. So we're all doing it together and I'm so proud of them because they found their shoes. Let's all put on our shoes. Let's all put on our coats. Here we go. So nothing is a power struggle, but y'all, I've done what I wanted to do. I've rallied the troops and I've got all of our shoes on. We transitioned peacefully from playtime to going outside. Do you see the ideas? You like this? Even with your 7-year-old, even with your 12-year-old, right? And these are ideas. This strategy works for any age. And depending on the personality of your kids, some kids are very strong-willed. Some kids are very, complacent or they're very cooperative. So different personalities will have different, wills. Some are very strong-willed and others aren't. But this technique works with all of them. It really does. So just try this and remember the way you behaved when they were newborn. You already know how to do this. Yeah, you have that. Yeah, and we all have kids. I've got 4 kids, so, they all have different personalities with that. So that's what it is. But this works no matter what. And so, role play with them. It's like everything is kind of a role play and kind of a mirror. But you know what? You know how to do this because I promise you did it when they were a newborn. You would feed them and you'd say, open your mouth. When you first start feeding them baby cereal, would say, open your mouth, and you'd open yours and they'd open theirs, and you kind of do the same thing no matter how old they get. Never make it a battle. We should always come from a place of peace so that we're constantly building the love, significance, and security. They always feel safe. There's no yelling. There's no arguing. There's no nagging. There's first-time obedience, but you know what? They don't even know that they're obeying half the time. That's what discipline is. Ultimately, it's really like discipleship. It's training. It's discipleship. It's It's training. It's training them through example. It's training them through really teaching them how to be in relationship. So the way that we're in relationship with people is we listen to them, we talk to them, we communicate, and we all do what's in the best interest of everybody. So that's kind of the way that it works. And I hope that you guys can understand that and apply it to your lives. I'll talk more about parenting tomorrow and for the rest of this week. So God bless you, and be sure to share this with your friends and tell people to tune into my Periscope this week to learn more about parenting, and I'll continue to walk you through some of the most strategic techniques that you can use with your kids. I'm so glad that you love this. God bless you guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye-bye.